It like legitimately froze over last night, guys. Cars are covered in ice. I need to learn how to drive, in my Timberlands so that I'm not quite as slippery today. I parked a little bit closer to work. Tried to like see what it's like parking like near it rather than at the park and ride, because it's going to rain today basically. And the sooner I can get to Bristol tonight the better, because I'm going to one of those developer meetup things, the fun one, you know? So yeah, drove in, got to leave a little bit earlier than I normally do to hit it. The difference in commute is it's a longer drive in the morning, but on the way back it's normally quicker. That's the general rule of this. It's always been that way ever since I used to come to that park and ride to Longbourn. I think I'm going to start aiming to get to work for about 8, or between 8 and like 15:15. That's going to be my like target, I think. You know what I've done, which was an absolute glaring oversight? I've driven to Bristol City Centre. I'm going to a meet-up about Git today. So I'm not expecting like earth-shatteringly new stuff, but it should be interesting. I do consider myself a bit of a Git pro, so it'll be interesting to see how accurate that is. You know what they say about the more you know about something, the more you know you don't know? I don't know, there isn't much I don't know, which means I'm either like fucking top notch, or I'm literally not even starting to climb that curve. We'll figure that out. But I'm here, 5 o'clock. I've got basically an hour and a bit before it starts. 5 o'clock, I can get to Bristol City Centre and park up by 5:10. That was Gucci, and I left late again today, so that's good. But I forgot my key card, / I didn't bring my key card to get into my virtual office. I could just go walk into my office and just sit down and have a drink and do some work on some Wi-Fi, but now I've got to go somewhere and get some food and sit down and have a drink somewhere in a pub. I could be doing all that for free somewhere else. Fucked it up, mate. I'm effectively pacing around now, dawdling, because I don't want to go in early. Last time I went in at around this time, the pizzas hadn't arrived yet, and they delayed the start of it, and it was so awkward. I had nothing to do for half an hour. But I'm trying now to figure out how to solve a problem. And it's a new problem that I have to solve. Go for one more loop around the block, and it's a people problem, and an architecture problem, and a code problem, all in one, and I don't really know enough about any of those 3 pieces of that pie to solve the problem. Sorry, to solve the problem in the optimal way. I know enough about the architecture problem. I say that, I think I know enough about the architecture. Most likely I do. But everything else is just wishy-washy. It's what I'm pondering as I wander around the streets of Bristol, waiting for everyone else to eat pizza so that I don't have to awkwardly stand around and listen to them. I've already had dinner. I got to Bristol so early I went to go get some pasta. What is it about stopped escalators that are so disorientating when you put your foot on it? Like, you go like this and then just like fall over. I don't get it. It was somewhat interesting. I mainly sat back, to be honest with you, and just kind of listened in, because I knew a lot of it, and a lot of this stuff is like a bit unnecessary. For those of you who don't know Git, basically all you really need is git stash, git commit, git rebase. That's it, and git rebase -I. That's about it. You can do everything you want to do with that. Sure, you can go to the ref log and you can do a lot of crazy stuff, but it's just flexing at that point. It's not even easier. It's not even quicker. It's just flexing on the haters. So most of it was somewhat interesting. I did learn a couple of things about how it works underneath, but I'm pretty good with Git. I'm still consider myself a bit of a dab hand, as they say. I love how quiet places like this are at night. Of course you can't see it because my camera's out of focus. I need to buy a new camera. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen. Right, it's nearly midnight. Got back late. We got back about 9ish, talked to Laura for a bit, and then I've been sorting out some errands that I need to sort out. Tomorrow I've got to go pick up a mirror no less. But then in theory, from that point on, I'm now like back in the swing of things. I've like stabilised a bit. And I'm going to start ramping up. Thinking about going back to trying my naps, just for a little bit, just to see how it goes, you know. Having said that, just seeing what's happening next week. I could take a hit on one day. There's never a perfect time to get into the naps, Joe. You just gotta fucking do it, alright? We're not gonna do this. You know what they say, Bubba? About, like, you just gotta work hard to get things in life? It's gonna be fucking damn right. You just gotta graft. All day, every day. Look at this little, so frosty look. Oh, love this weather so fucking much. You can't miss up an opportunity to have a walk in weather like this, which is why I'm walking the whole way in. Well, not the whole way in. I'm not from Bristol. Walking from the park and ride. It's dry. Basically, whenever it's, I think what I'm going to do is, whenever it's dry, I'm just going to go this whole way, either on foot or on a skateboard or whatever. And if not, I'd park closer, because I can park closer. I could literally park anywhere on this road, for example. So literally every step I'm taking, I could have driven it. But it's by the by, innit? The car is safer in the park and ride than it is here. Not that it's worth stealing or vandalising, but a good day today. Quite enjoyed it. Got to, I was like invited into a meeting so that I could listen to stuff to try and figure it out, and then I started helping them figure it out, which was interesting. So I'm like, I'm already making a name for myself for being clever, which I like. He's like, we should invite Jamie, he's clever. He seems to know what he's talking about, and I'm like, yeah, but now I feel like I'm at a position now where I can just start looking at it and I can piece it together. I've like mapped it all out in my head, and I know where everything is, or most things are. If I don't, then I can kind of figure out how it's pieced together. There seems to be some level of logic to it. It seemed mental when I first started looking. I'm starting to get there. But yeah, we'll see. I mentioned that I'm like, that there are some architectural things which seem a bit off. This is via email. And he was like, just my manager, and I'm like, can I just grab your ear about some stuff? And he's like, yeah, we are imagining someone was going to start saying stuff like this, so we're all ears. I'm like, yes. So we'll get there. We'll figure it out. My days. I've got a good feeling. I've got a feeling that there's two like pretty significantly good options for me where I am. I reckon I could probably take them both. Nice little walk as well to the car. I quite enjoy this. I like getting a bit of like breathing space either side. I like going for walks at lunch as well, but I didn't get to go on one because I got pulled into that meeting and I wasn't expecting it. So I do like this walk. The problem is I'm going to get back to the car at about 4:30, get home for about 5, but I need to go and pick up a mirror, which is going to take me to about 5:15, pick it up, get it in the car, and then drive back from there home in Bristol rush hour. It's not very well planned out. It's not like, fuck, I can't really go home first because Laura's going to take for a while to get home and they close early. So it's a bit of a faff. And to be honest with you, I think I'd rather get it done, get home, get eating, start organising some shit, get productive. I've had a goddamn hoot, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get my bloody blog stuff working. I've set up like a little test harness thingamajig, and I was like, I didn't even boot the test. I was like, fuck it, that's done. I've figured out how to daisy chain the nougat packages so it all works nicely. Let's just friggin' smash it in, we'll put it into the project and we can test it there. And I boot up the test project and I'm like, here's some problems. So the moment I have no way of putting data in to the data stores, just getting it out. And generating that data is a bit of a bitch, to say the least. I need to put a date time offset in there and I don't know how to do that. It's a bit of a faff. So I just need to figure that out. And that's been it basically. It's been good fun. I am gonna have an early night tonight. And then tomorrow. It's gonna rain a lot tomorrow, so I'm gonna park close to work to avoid that rain and to make sure that. Oh, is it gonna mean it's gonna freeze over? Oh. It's the worst. Like, car frost isn't annoying. It's when it's rained and it's just like literal ice. It's not frost, it's ice. That's what's the most annoying. I did delay getting the mirror as well. I'm gonna go that other weekend. So Jeremy Pitt ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I need to I'm not good at this vlogging stuff anymore, am I? I'm so like focused on loads of things. I've got a lot of to make excuses. Whoops, big old time jump. It's the next friggin' day, ladies and gentlemen. We had an interesting old mooch about at work today. I've been diving through some of the code, trying to figure out what the heck is going on in there. I feel like I know my way around most of it, but it seems to be built on like a lot of stuff where you kind of like you're like expecting it to just be like, oh yeah, so they're doing this thing, which means they're going to do this. But for some reason, it's like, and I'm looking through this code, and it's to be honest with you, it's like fucking hats off for getting that shit working. Because my god, like I could not write code that could do that. But it's something I've learned over my years of being a software developer, is if what you're doing is really hard, you probably shouldn't be doing it. I'm in my trade, in my job, I don't get paid to like invent really cool ways of managing things on a message bus, or invent like a really cool, innovative way of displaying data on a web page. I don't do that. My job is to make my company money, right? And you know what? Someone, somewhere, their job is to do that thing. And there's lots of them. There's an entire company that does it. They get paid money, and their business is built on the fact that that thing works. Or there's literally thousands and thousands of people who have built this thing and then released it for everyone else to use because that's the best way of doing it. And if there's something wrong with it, then there's something wrong with everyone's site. And if we hire more people, then the chances are they've heard of this thing, and the chances are they've played with it, or looked at it, or they at least know the basic concepts of it. But it's like everything is like a handmade version of something that exists. Do you remember me telling you that story about someone who hand cranked their own validation framework instead of just using Fluent Validator just for banter? It's like that, but on steroids. It's just like rabbit holes of trying to figure it all out and just be like, what is happening in this? And you just want to find this thing. I just want to find this thing out, how this date system works here. And then it's just like, whoop, you're in a rabbit hole, and then there's like 5 tunnels, and you're like, right, I've not seen that before, not seen that before, not seen that before. Well, what's it? Google it. Nothing. Interesting. Check for our repositories. Alright, okay, we made it. Cool. Find out what it is. Obviously it's in like nested NuGet packages as well, so you can't just debug actually died. There's a reason I'm going into all of this as well. So basically I spent the morning trying to figure out, I started off trying to figure out how this date system worked, figured out how the date system worked. Then I was trying to help someone else who couldn't get the microservices up and running because they had message bus problems, which led me into finding how we were hand cranking message bus orchestration. And it's like really fucking clever stuff. It's just unnecessary. Like that, I don't work for a company that needs to do that, you know. So anyway, and then I was doing, what else did I do? And then I was helping, trying to figure out how to. We need to create an admin tool to do this thing. I found a repo where it looks like someone started it ages ago, and that's built on top of this other thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like it's a bit like MVC, but not. But it's like Microsoft MVC. If you're in the .NET stack, everyone uses that. Why have we got something else? And it's just like there's 4 or 5 different things that I'm currently exploring. They're the 2 main ones I was looking at today. Where it's like it's not just a problem of solving the what the program does and trying to figure out where everything is. It's figuring out all of these other things. And normally, it's things like Automapper, Fluent Validator, just shit like that, where you could Mediator, where you can just go online and look at it, or come home and do it in my own time. I can learn it without being there, but I can't because 1, it's in a NuGet package and I can't debug it, and 2, it's all in house, so it's frustrating. And I'm like, I have no idea how. Like it must be really hard to hire people because you basically have to like the ramp is fucking astronomical. It's just like Bang. Okay, right. This is a pretty simple problem we've got to solve. Whoa, what the fuck is all this? I'm bringing all this up because I've started to notice that what I'm lacking at the moment is focus. I have an inability to focus on a single thing and do it. Now, partially that's because at my previous job, just everything was going on all the time and I just ran around like a headless chicken. I think I just ran around like a headless chicken for such a long time that I lost the ability to focus. Now here, there's a couple of things that I need to learn. No one's chasing me to learn them, but I need to learn them, and I'm just kind of generating my own list of lots of things to do, and I'm not getting much done, or not really getting to the bottom of one bit of the rabbit run. And at home, I just have like no focus on my own thing. So I've now got it so that my blogging framework works, and I've got it on a Nougat package which I'm feeding into my website so that I can now, in theory, put it on. I just need to make it styled and all that kind of stuff. That was about an hour ago and I've still just kind of like pissed around with some, it's just not good. And I'm losing the ability to focus and I'm like, right, okay, I'm just like stacking lots of, basically just like half-heartedly spinning plates, you know? I think that's because I went so long not having to focus, or not being somewhere where they actually encourage you not to focus. Because the only way to get anything else sorted is because I'm not focused on a single thing and I'm helping everyone up. But I need to figure out how to get out of that little rut. And it's a focus rut, is what it is. All I need to do is improve my ability to focus. And then do stuff again, you know? That being said, at work, I'm genuinely really enjoying work at the moment, which is a good thing. Specifically because I really didn't like where I previously worked, but I'm seeing a lot of opportunities to kind of, and this is why I wanted to work for somewhere like I currently am working. I'm seeing a lot of opportunities to like lead. From like a team management perspective and from like a technical perspective, and but then what I'm currently doing is putting another hat on where I'm like, right, that means I need to race ahead on a load of things so that when I start taking over this stuff up, I need to have all the answers. I need to have it all planned out. I need to know exactly what I'm fucking doing in every single aspect, and I just don't have the time for that. So there's another thing I'm stacking on top. I'm like, right, how can I manage the team? How can I manage all the people within it? And I don't want to manage it, but how can I get the best out of it? And I'm like trying to figure it out, because at the moment we've got a lot of front end guys, and kind of like a front end guy who started to dabble in .NET, and then me. And I'm like, right, we've got a shitload of .NET work to do. What's the best way of doing this? And I'm trying to solve these problems, and then I'm trying to solve architectural problems, and then I'm trying to solve like code problems. And I'm like, it's like, I think, did I say this a minute ago? I blanked out. I've had a little bit of a minor pass out since then. I just got like a line of spinning plates, and I just half-heartedly spin each one. Because there's no hope that I can do that, as well as all of this shit. And I think what I'm partially, it's either because I'm used to not focusing, and I'm used to just having to spin more than I could possibly spin, so I just kind of, and Laura does this as well, she says she doesn't like not having deadlines at work because it feels like she can only work under a deadline. And for a long time I've just been working by just giving everything I can, little bits that I can, to as much as possible, and then therefore not really getting very far with anything, but in theory other people are, you know what I mean? Or I'm used to having the time and the productivity and focus to do a lot of these things, but I'm not doing that, and therefore I'm stacking all of this stuff to achieve, and I just don't have the time, because I think I could do it if I have the time. But even then, I don't think even if I went back to my sleeping pattern and did some crazy shit, I still don't think I'd have the time. So that's what I'm currently struggling with. Come back later for some more therapy. My head is just such a mess. Like, there's just so much going on up there. And it's nearly all unnecessary. I just find myself fixate on little things for little periods of time. God damn. Like, maybe these walks are the problem. I'm giving myself too much time to think about shit, and I should just pick something and run with it. In fairness, I've probably always done this. I've probably always gone, oh, I've got some spare time, let's fill it with some stuff. Except now I don't have spare time. And I keep filling it with stuff. Most of the things I'm filling it with are like, nothing's short term. Nothing's like a short term gain. It's all long term strategy, and then you end up doing lots and lots of long term strategy and then never doing anything. This is my first bug today, did my first PR. And, well, we've not merged it yet because we've got to merge it through the microservices. We've got to merge it, update new packages, and then I can update other packages and then merge them, and then it's going to be a hoot, but we'll get there. I'm pretty happy with that. Also had like a couple of conversations over Slack about like the way that we're building something. Slack is always irritating because you end up getting annoyed at, this is like an in-person kind of conversation. You always get annoyed at the other person, being like, no, you're not listening to me. And you don't, and obviously you remove the tone in voice. When it's in person, you just kind of figure it out. But it's better than fucking email, let's put it that way. So I talked to this guy over Slack, and I'm like, this is what we need to do. And he's saying something else. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something completely different here. What are you talking about? But we got it. We came around to my way of doing it. We'll see. We'll see. I was at a meeting with QA today to discuss how they do QA. I was like, kind of like, oh, this is how we do QA kind of meeting. And I'm like, I don't think he was expecting to be drilled as much as I drilled him. He expected the standard developer response of being like, I'm a developer, I don't care about QA, you just do what you do and don't cause me any issues. And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to need to do this. And at the end of it, I'm like, mate, consider me an ally, all right? Because I'm going to be coming to you and I'm going to be pushing you to do stuff, not the other way around, all right, mate? I'm going to be like, look, I want to make this change. We need to get this better. Because we freaking need to get better at tests. That's my forte. That's what I'm here for. And he's like, we're going to try and get the developers to write more unit tests. I'm like, mate, don't you fucking worry about that. I'm going to rule those unit tests with an iron fist. Look at me like I don't write unit tests. Nah, it's my specialist subject, fam. They brought me in because they wanted someone experienced enough to tell them where they're going wrong and what to do and how to make it stuff better and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure whether or not they kind of are going to get what they expected. You know, so I'm just going to be there and just be like, right, let's change this, let's change this, let's change this. Let's just put me in charge, boys. Let me have a go. Give me the reins. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Because like I say, it was an interesting week and everyone's really nice. So, I think people aren't expecting someone. People never really expect someone like me. Very Marmitey. If you work well with someone like me, you'll work fucking great. But if you don't, usually the only people who don't work well with someone like me are people who are in or enjoy rigid hierarchies. Because I just come in and ignore all of that shit. And I'm like, right guys, let's sort this out like adults. That's what my biggest problem was at my old place, to be honest. They have a hierarchy and they are not used to some little old squirt coming in and being like, yeah guys, you're doing it wrong. We need to work together to make this better. And they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think people in hierarchies in general, I'm not talking about my current place, I'm talking about my old place. They don't expect people to tell them no. They don't expect people to like challenge them to a certain extent. And I'm more than happy to challenge. I think I say this a lot though. If you're in a conversation with someone, no matter who, even if they're like higher up than you or they're a junior and they're below you or anything like that, where's the frickin' key? You both have different solutions or you both have different ideas or different thoughts on a process. One of you is more right or more wrong than the other, and the sooner you both figure that out, who it is, the better. Because if you don't bring it up and you don't figure it out, you either resent the thing because you think you could have done it better, or you do it the worst, or you do it the worst way. But if you bring it up, you either at worst learn, at best do it the best way. There's no, it's literally fucking win, boys. Like I say, like I apply that thought process to working with literally everyone I ever meet, whether they're below me or above me or whatever. Someone comes to me with an idea and I'm like, that's different to my idea. Let's discuss this critically and figure it out. Let's like not pro and con it, but let's discuss it, figure out the solution and roll. But the thing is, if someone is used to just putting an idea out there and it just getting accepted, and or used to steamrolling other people because of their rank. I'm talking too much now. Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks from my old job. I get back home now about 4 o'clock, which is 4 o'clock, fucking 5 o'clock, just gone. And Laura doesn't get back until like at least 6, which is the time I used to get back as well. So actually, going back into my napping pattern makes a lot of sense. I can get back, have my 30-minute nap, wake up, and still start cooking before Laura gets back. Maybe that's where it's at, because the problem with it, and then, even then, still finish cooking and finish eating and tidying up and everything, with enough time to spare to actually then do some more stuff in the evening. Because previously, the problem with the sleeping thing in general was the time in the evening wasn't very long, so I'd get back for about 6:15, go sleep, and then I'd wake up at like 6:45, and then I'd be going to bed at like 10 or 11 o'clock. And basically, like, I'd have my nap in the morning, then there'd be a huge gap until napping lunchtime, and there'd be another huge gap until, another huge gap till I get home, and then a tiny little gap. Maybe this works out again. And like I said, I think I'm ramping into it. There's two things going on next week which make it difficult. Otherwise I've done it already, he says. But you all know that's an excuse. Because I've been back for like 15-20 minutes and I've not done anything yet. So obviously this time now isn't productive, so I may as well just go sleep. We had wine and we had a lovely takeaway. That's what I needed, to be honest with you. A nice little pick me up. Right, I'm heading off to bed. A lot of thinking, a lot of planning to do. We have a nice long weekend coming up though, ladies and gentlemen. We have a nice long weekend. And it's going to be me and you. We've got a couple of errands to run, but not fucking many. We're going to be waking up tomorrow with a vigour. I'm going to be back, boys. More bullshit either. Promise. I'll catch you later.